Welcome back to Waking Up is Hard to Do. Today I'm going to read chapter 5. In this chapter, I will discuss my views on sex. Society has created a stigma around all things sex, from the act itself to sexuality. The way I see it is when it comes to sexuality, we have been programmed to believe that sex and marriage is to be between a man and a woman. After doing quite a bit of research, it turns out that in past years, people openly loved both sexes. This subject kind of falls back on religious views. Yet I never understood how religious people talk about how we are to love everyone, but in my experience, they condemn those who choose to love the same sex. They make those that choose to be with the same sex feel less than acceptable. They are made to feel like something is very wrong with them. This leads to a lot of self-hate. I long to see a time where all are accepted regardless of who they are. Now for a harder part of this topic, that is sexual abuse and sex trafficking. Being a victim of sexual abuse not once or twice, but several times, I am aware of the pain and shame it causes within our human psyche. It triggered many things in me which helped me survive at the time, but later caused much trouble in my life. I ended up having very unhealthy relationships with both men and women. I would develop unhealthy attachments to men and would grow angry towards the women in my life for not protecting me. Today, I have a much different perspective when it comes to my own experiences. Excuse me. What I will say is that no matter what the offense is, remember that the person that is hurting you has been hurt themselves. Please know that I do not excuse anyone's offenses. However, life is all about perspective, and seeing my offenders as hurt humans has helped me have more of an understanding of why people do the things they do and find it in my heart to forgive them. Later, I will publish a book that goes into my experiences with sexual abuse in full detail, but I would like to keep this book as PG as possible. Now, as far as the act of sex itself goes, it is the ultimate exchange of energy between two people. If you are a woman who enjoys sex with several different partners, you are considered a slut. Yet if a man has several partners, it is acceptable and even encouraged. Also, I want to point out that when it comes to sexual abuse and young men, it is encouraged by making the young man think he is cool if he has sex with an older woman by his peers, even some adults. It isn't seen as abuse. Then people wonder why they don't come forward. This world has become very backwards. I have also heard many people ask why more women don't come forward when they are sexually abused. Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is because often we are not believed or we are blamed for it happening in the first place. I have felt shame and disgust in myself already as it was, thanks to the grooming that my abusers put me through prior to the abuse taking place. So you take that and combine it with not being believed and told I was a whore at the age of 12 and it was my fault it happened. It really had a negative effect on my self-worth. We are taught that masturbation is bad and we shouldn't do it. This is wrong on so many levels. First, orgasm is a straight shot for being connected with our higher power. Of course, those who run this matrix do not want us aware of this little, not so well known fact. Second, there is nothing wrong with exploring your own body. How else would we know what feels good and what doesn't? There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking matters into your own hands when the need arises. I encourage you to explore your sexual urges as long as it doesn't include harming another living being. Like all things in life, we should begin with ourselves. We are also taught that prostitution and stripping are horrible behaviors, and only people who are disgusting participate in such employment. Who are we to judge how someone supports themselves? Does this mean I would choose either profession? No, but I do not judge those who do. We have been placed with some very inaccurate limiting beliefs around all things concerned with a sexual nature. Let me lay out some examples. We all know sex sells. Companies bank off that. Many companies use half-naked people to promote their product or service. but will turn around and shame a woman dancing in a sexy manner or a stripper, even one they are currently sitting in front of. We are taught that an individual who has multiple sex partners in their life is trashy. Why is this the case? Not to mention, if there wasn't a demand for that kind of work, it wouldn't exist. I do not see people shaming the customers who frequent strip clubs or hire escorts. Why do we concern ourselves with other people's sexual activities to begin with? In my opinion, those who sit around throwing shame on other people for their sexual activities are the ones who are upset because they are still with the same person they met in high school and are experiencing a lull in sexual activities. Not that there is anything wrong with that. I do not judge anyone or anything. It is also those who have not been brave enough to explore their sexuality. We live in a world where shaming has gone way too far. Never be scared to be yourself. To all of the ladies out there, small, medium, to triple XL, do not be ashamed of your bodies. And if you want to show it off, then do you. Our bodies are beautiful no matter what shapes or sizes they are. Think about what they do for us. It is nothing short of amazing. That's the end of that chapter. This has, in many ways, been a hard topic for me throughout my life because of the abuse that I've experienced. But at the same time, I've been blessed to have enough courage and strength to share my experiences for those who have been scared to. Our experiences are part of who we are. They build the strength and character that we need to better live out our lives and walk our paths. So do not be scared. If you are a victim of sexual abuse, come forward, share your strength, share your experience. It will help other people open up and shed a much needed light on this topic. There are so many people out there that suffer needlessly because people don't want to look at the darker sides of life. But when we look at those darker sides of life, we shed light on them. And they're no longer dark anymore. You'll find that they no longer happen anymore. But if we ignore them and sweep them under the rug or lock them in a closet so no one else can see them, you don't heal them, and they continue to happen to other unsuspecting victims, mostly children. So please, have the strength to stand up and speak your truth. I know it's scary, but honestly, living in the dark is even more scary. Thank you for joining me again, for waking up is hard to do. And please, if you find this content useful, like, subscribe, and share. We are all in this together. So let's help one another instead of kicking each other when we're down. We all know that doesn't feel good. So don't continue to do it. Find that strength in you, that compassion, that empathy that I know everyone carries, and let it shine. Let it shine so bright that the dark is illuminated and it doesn't have to be a scary place anymore. Thanks for joining me again. And I look forward to all of your comments and interacting with you guys. Have a great day. You are all blessed and you are all loved so very much.